Good morning and welcome to Viva Cafe con Leche Tuesday morning, May 4th. I had to cheat and look at the computer. Welcome. I am the Badass Buddha, Dr. Lori Monaco, coming to you from dreary, but not too cold Connecticut, which also Gladiator Guru still is in. So it's fabulous. And what am I? I'm an authenticity teacher, speaker, coach, chiropractic physician, fat eviction specialist, and yeah, I guess, I don't know. That's it. Good enough.
Well, buenos días.
Soon to be author.
There you go. Buenos días, mi gente. I am La Margarita, coming to you from wet Shelton because did it rain all night? Anywho, I am your author, your artist, your spiritual and creative healing life coach. I am your wedding officiant. So if you're in Florida, I can marry you. I am your ordained minister, so I can marry you anywhere. I am the Gladiator Guru, magically orgasmic. Welcome. Bienvenido a Viva Cafe con Leche. Namaste, mi gente.
Good morning. Good morning. So before we got on, Gladiator Guru was talking about how she has her book signing and reading this Thursday, which we will, I'm going to let you mention that again. But what we were talking about was the fact that she thought she got it all ahead of time and was ready to go with her outfit. And her outfit that she bought is huge on her because she's been losing weight with the program that we both are on the program, but it's the program that I offer. And so I said, listen, if you're going to complain about something, that's a good thing to complain about. That
I know.
Right?
It is huge. I thought I was all set. I was wrong. But it's good to be wrong sometimes.
I was wrong. Oh,
yes.
My goodness.
So good morning. So
remind everybody what's happening with Thursday, because it is this Thursday. So we need to push that so everybody comes.
This Thursday, May 6th it says 5:30 to 7. 5:30 is mostly set up. The book reading will be at 1123 Main Street in downtown Bridgeport at the Collab Exchange. It's a beautiful place where they sell all kinds of things Bridgeport. And anybody who knows me knows I love me some Bridgeport. So I told her to leave the whole bunch of t-shirts behind me that say I heart Bridgeport. I want that as my backdrop. So it tells you I'm proud of where I come from.
That's beautiful that you're that proud. I love it.
So the reading will be from Soul Searching for Peace. So for those who have already purchased an autographed copy from me, just come in and grace me with your presence and listen to the words flow. For those who bought it on Amazon, bring your copy in. I'll gladly autograph it. Let's just empower one another and have fun. We haven't been able. This book was born in April of 2020. During the pandemic, it got published. So nothing could have been done with it. I was marketing it online, doing some live book readings. People purchased it. It was all fun and dandy. So this is like the coming out, the quinceañero, the bar mitzvah, the baptism, everything. This is the first date for Soul Searching for Peace, the second edition. So if you're in the area, come on down. Bridgeport should be dead by that time, so parking should be.
Bridgeport should be dead, and I think parking's free after 6.
After 6, yeah. So hopefully you can park right there on Main Street, right in front of the Collab. And the best part of it is that aside from you getting me up there running my mouth, the Badass Buddha is going to be sitting in her little nook doing a live presentation, right? She's going to be streaming live.
Live on the Viva channel. We're going to interview the tribe members, talk to them about we'll have a couple of questions, easy questions that you can answer. We're going to have a couple of questions and just chatting. And then I'll interview Gladiator Guru and she'll show off her book. She'll probably read something from her book. I said, one of you, you could bring both if you wanted to and read something from right?
Yeah. So if you're in the area, just stop in, say hey, have one of my sister's delicious brownies or pistachio nut cake muffin she's making and let's enjoy it, and let's shop small businesses, because the collab also has some stuff there for you to see. She has phenomenal books as well. So yeah, so let's just what is uplifting one another. That is what we do, especially in women entrepreneurship. We have to assist one another in growing, and that's how we empower ourselves, by empowering one another. There's no competition, only with the woman in the mirror from yesterday. So with that said, I just wanted to read something real quick about coffee, because we have a phenomenal guest who's going to be doing phenomenal things soon in July, and I'm so proud and just so excited. But cafe, we haven't really spoken about cafe.
Yes, go for it.
Café con leche, to me, is the elixir of spirits. The let's meet up and catch up. It is the glue that bonds us to one another at birthdays, at weddings, at funerals, right? It is the I miss you, I'll miss you, I'll remember you with every sip. Viva Café con Leche. I like
Beautiful.
that.
Oh, I love the cup. And I love the cup. Is that a heart on the back side of it?
These are the cups that I made.
Oh, I love that.
I painted all these cups.
Is it a full heart when you turn it?
It's a heart with this, you see?
I
made it so that it's a heart with that. And then I did all the gold dots, right? And then when you bring it around, it's an elephant trunk. Because I love elephants.
Good.
Yeah, and then
one of those.
And then I did this one, but it's you could tell since I've been here, I've used it so much. But I did this one, and then it's just the red polka dots going all around. I made those right before my art show last January. Yeah.
January.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I made them.
Very cool. Very nice. I love it. Let's say good morning let's do some shout outs. So Luis Sanchez, beat everybody as usual. Good morning, Luis. Tiffany Bryan. Good morning. Chenille is in the house. Real deal. Michelle Imar Rivera. Michelle Houston. And let's see who else. Connie's on. Good morning, Connie.
Hello, my sister.
Dennis is on. So good morning, everybody. Good morning.
Also, my sister, my son-in-law, my cousins. It's just beautiful. My friends.
Remember, if you we love for you to shout out a comment, because when you shout out a comment, we see it scroll up on our screen. But if you just pop on, we don't, unless we're looking at the actual Facebook feed, we won't notice, and we won't be able to like type it in and shout out to you. So make sure that, like Deb Wojtek just popped on. So make sure that you say good morning, say hello, so that we can, there she goes, Desiree saying good morning.
Say good morning, buenos dias, ciao, aloha. Come on, what other language is good morning? Because ciao's both, aloha's both. Hi.
Listen, that's
what do you want? What do you want? So early. That's a good morning from some people. So I mean, the language barriers can be broken with hello.
That's right.
Why are you talking to me so early? I get that.
Okay, so speaking of talking, so our guest today, we're going to do our intention, set our intention and our mantra today, but we just want to mention that this is a very cool show today, because we're going to be interviewing Gabby Scott. She is an Olympic hopeful for hurdles and she's representing Puerto Rico, which is fabulous. A very big Puerto Rican population on the show. And we're going to be talking about building from the broken. And she's a beautiful spirit. She's just so lovely. She has her own podcast, so she can talk about that as well. But just the fact that we got her on. So what happened was, when we were talking to schedule her, we are so booked up for guests that we're scheduling out into October. Like that's how booked up we are for guests, because we usually
that's how popular we are.
Yes, that's how popular we are. So
let us know.
Because we have Thursday, we do Thursdays usually, sometimes we do Tuesdays, right? So, but we wanted, so then we're like, okay, so when are you going to be, in the Olympics? And she goes, July. And we're like, oh, no, we have to get you on before, so we can just like get everybody out there and loving you and cheering you on, so that we have a reason to turn on the TV, and we're going to say, oh my God, we know her. Go, Gabby, go. Right? Because how many times you watch it and you're just cheering and you're just like, oh, this is great. You go USA, but now it's go Puerto Rico and we know somebody. So this is very cool. Like, it's going to be so cool to watch like a person on TV that I know that's in the Olympics. So we're going to get to Gabby in just a moment. So let's set our intention, right? So the intention for today, going from the idea of building from the broken, today we're going to set the intention that I am healed and I am unbroken. And it doesn't matter if you still are working through things, you are going to set the intention that you are already fixed. I am healed. I am unbroken.
That's beautiful.
Thank you.
And my mantra is very simple as well, because sometimes self-healing starts off with one simple action that we possess. And that is smile often, frown less. When we frown, if you try it one day, you stay in a funk longer, but when you smile, even though it's forced, it's still a smile. And it raises everything. So when a smile, you raise up, right? You curve up. And that's what it does for your spirit. It raises it up. So in that healing from the broken, just smile through your process. Smile often, frown less. And I got to frown less too, because my cheeks are going from cheeks to jowls, and we ain't trying to hear that anymore.
I like the fact that I've been smiling more, because my wrinkles have made it look like I have dimples. I've never had dimples before. So because the way my wrinkles are falling when I smile, they look like dimples. And I was like, oh, okay, that works for me. Some people don't like smiling, especially women, as they age, because they get wrinklier.
The crow's feet, but
who cares? Listen, my crow's feet are unnoticeable compared to the bags under my eyes. That takes away from my crow's feet. So when I smile, people are like, damn, look at her bags. They don't even notice my crow's feet. So just get them to look at something else. That's it. If you're worried about your
crow's feet. You have to. And if you're trying to heal from the broken, don't stop criticizing yourself. Because, the other day I was looking in the mirror and I was like, oh my God, I don't even have the lining of my high cheekbones that much anymore. And they were like, really? Because my cheeks were big. And then I was about to complain. And then I remember one of my best friends, may she rest in peace, Diana Lugo, died in her early 50s. And I'm going to be 53. So you know what? I'm embracing my wrinkles and, my little thing right here, like my grandmother, that I feel I need a mini facelift. But we could all joke around and stuff like that. But it's, you know what? It's about healing, right? Healing your body with nutrition. It's about healing your spirit with positivity, words and music, and healing your soul with dancing and movement. So I love this topic that we're about to talk about today. And I think we all can learn from it, because we forget. We tend to hold on to the sad and broken memories. And we forget that we did have those good ones with certain people. So let's just try to flip that bitch and reawaken the happy thoughts, because those happy thoughts are going to be our doctor for healing.
And to change our mindset to believe that once we're broken, we're always broken. We are not. That's the whole point that we're going to be talking about today, is starting over and moving forward. What does it take to recreate our lives? And we could start today. We don't have to say tomorrow, I'll do it tomorrow. We could start today. When we recreate the new, we must build a strong foundation of, better yet, rebuild our wings so we can soar to amazing heights. And just because of whatever happened in your past, rebuild the bitch. Just break the foundation down if you need to and start over. There's nothing that says you can't start over. It's just our belief that we cannot start over and fix ourselves. And if you think that the foundation is still pretty decent, you only need to fix a piece of it, but fix the rest of the building on top, that's fine too. Just do it. Just take that step and do it.
Just do it. Like Nike couldn't come up with the most perfect, what is it? Monica logo.
They're oh my God, isn't that terrible? You made me forget too. Yeah,
I made you. Stop accusing me. Me forget. Good morning, Erica Balahala.
Slogan. Yes.
Lillian, good morning. Iritza, for those who came in afterwards. And remember, when you feel broken and you feel there's no way out, think about the Japanese and how they kintsugied broken pieces into masterpieces. And always consider yourself a masterpiece, even at your lowest level, because you know what? Get all that glue that you have going around and glue yourself together, and voila, you're perfect because you designed yourself the way you want to.
That's
so
right.
Sometimes we need to break from what everybody's expectation of us was. We need to break and fall and sit and then rise as a masterpiece of our own construction.
Great. Very good. All right. So let's get our guests on. Everybody welcome Gabby Scott. Yay! Yay! Good morning. How are you?
I am good. I'm good. I've literally been looking forward to being on here ever since we scheduled it. So I've been like, I swear May 4th was like teasing me the whole time. I was like, I'm ready to get on with these women and have this conversation.
We're so excited. Listen, okay, first off, look at how gorgeous she is. And she is representing, right? So like this is so amazing. And first, let's just talk about that piece of it first, and then we'll get on the conversation. So fill everybody in. Tell everybody first off, you do hurdles, right? That's what that's what you're specifically doing, right? In the Olympics.
Yeah. So now I'm actually running the 400 and the 800. So there's been some shifts again. So, making changes in life, and the 4x4 relay as well.
Wow. Oh my gosh. Yeah. So this is exciting. So, I mean, that's an enormous feat to get onto an Olympic team. I mean, it's just the coolest thing ever. And so we are just like blown away at that. I mean, that right there is just talk about really pushing yourself and believing in yourself and having others, your tribe members that support you, believe in you. So tell us about how you're feeling about that. And then also share that you have your own podcast. And then we'll get right into why you chose this topic, because Gabby's the one who chose this topic. So we'll get into that.
Yeah. So I moved to Orlando in December 2019. So it was just to train professionally. So I moved across the country. I'm from San Diego, California. So I'm very open to change, but it was a big leap and fresh out of college and everything too. So it's been fun, but like you said, it's definitely learning to lean on people, but I think it's taught me so much about myself already. And I think that will be definitely a part of today's conversation of, there's very few people who are on the journey that I'm on. And even then, track is a very individual sport. And so you kind of, everyone, it's not like a team thing. We all need each other. Well, we don't really necessarily need each other to make it. So it's like you really have to learn to have a really strong mental and then leaning on the right people as well. And I think that's what it's taught me the most. And definitely, I think I lean on the pride of the island more than anything right now. And then my mom and everything. And of course, my parents, my mom's from the island. And I just kind of think of them when things get hard. And when I hear from them, I go on Facebook and I just see all the love and support. And they don't personally know me, but you just know being a small island to even have us on that sort of stage, that world stage, it's huge. And so I definitely think that's what drives me the most. But it's been such an experience and it's taught me so much about myself being out here and training for this sort of journey. And
that's awesome.
Thank you. And then as far as my podcast, it's called We Were the Best of Friends Until We Weren't. And it's about friendship breakups. I started because I went through a friendship breakup myself in college that was pretty big. And I realized that no one really talked about it. And then I would talk to my close friends. They're like, oh my God, I lost this friend also, or this thing happened. And I remember just like going through Google and podcasts and YouTube, and I wasn't seeing anyone really talk about it. And I thought that was so strange when this is something that pretty much everyone has gone through or will go through at some point, just because there's a lot of transition in life. People start to grow apart, things like that. And it's been so much fun. I'm on season 3 right now. If anyone wants to share their story, you can find me on Instagram at GabScott13. It's just been great just to have people reach out who I don't know at all and just say, I found your podcast. It's helped me through my own friendship breakup, or I sent it to a friend and everything. And it taught me even myself more about friendships. I think the biggest and fun conversation has been like adult friendships. And I was like, what do you mean? Adult friendships are just like college. And now I'm like kind of like a real adult a little bit. I'm like, ooh.
Just a little bit, right?
A little bit, just like 2 years.
Don't rush it.
Yes. And I'm like, hey, now I see the difference. So it's a fun podcast because it's like I'm learning as a host while also, giving the listeners content and stories to relate to also. So when the pandemic hit, that's the project I picked up of starting the podcast. So it's like the journey of going to the Olympics and then the podcast and just taking things as they come. And it starts with this topic as well.
Mm-hmm.
So
that's awesome.
You know what? And all that really rides on transformation. That's all. Like you've done nothing but transformed yourself. And even that podcast, when you're talking about breaking up friendships, it's a transformation, because I've done that. You know, sometimes you break up a friendship, it's not a good breakup, like you weren't expecting it. But then other times you're the one who's breaking up the friendship because it's not serving you anymore, or it's toxic. And so there's so many elements to it. You get both sides. You get the side of the people that are saying they were the ones that were broken, like the person didn't want to talk to them anymore and they didn't know why. And then you're the other one who's saying, I had to not be friends with that person anymore because it just wasn't good for my soul or my spirit anymore. And maybe they don't even use those words because they don't know that. But that's great. And, you know, you're very inspirational by saying that you learn so much from the people that are on the show. That's why we do what we do. Like, we have insight, of course. You know, we're a bit older than you. I don't know if you've noticed.
Just a little bit, all right?
So we've had
to drop it like a 17-year-old.
She can, yes. That's what I've heard. I've been told. So we've got years of, like, you know, life experience, you know, education, whatever, you know. Nobody knows everything. And so we have guests come on, and it's just beautiful because we share what insight that we know, and then they come on and share insight, and then we're taking notes going, my God, that's fantastic, you know? Right. And that is the whole point of platforms such as ours and yours, is that it's there for people to share and be vocal and ask questions, because we all learn and we all lift up. So you're lifting up in all kinds of ways. So this is absolutely fantastic. So talk about why you chose this topic. Let's get into that.
Absolutely. So I think, just like I said, being out here trying to figure out myself and other people, I find it always big is just understanding why we are the way we are. I remember when I first started dating my boyfriend, I told him that, like, asking questions about his past, how he was raised, past relationships. And I remember him saying, like, well, don't you want to focus on the present and in the future? And I told him, no, because if I don't know your past, I won't understand why you are the way you are, and therefore how to love you properly, how to respect you, how to be really a unit. And I started carrying that into just my daily conversations and my friendships. And I remember even now people are just so shocked when I ask those deeper questions. They're like, don't you just want to ask me, like, what I'm doing today or something? Like, no, I want to know about you, and not because I'm nosy, but if I'm building this friendship with you, or I want to get to know you, I need to understand. I've had some of those hard conversations with people, and just for them to face it, and they're surprised when they kind of unpack some of those maybe childhood trauma or past relationships, they realize how it's really shaped them, of who they are, how it affects their current relationships, how it affects who they are now. And so that's why I kind of picked this topic. It's been something I'm so passionate about, of when we bring awareness to certain habits or problems or like I said, past issues, when we unpack that, we put it on the table, a lot of things come to light, and then change can happen from there. And so I think, you know, with you two and what you do, I was like, this is going to be such a fun topic. And I think we all immediately, when I mentioned, jumped in, just like, I want to talk about this and we can mention that. And so that's been something I'm passionate about. Like I said, being out here now, living on my own out here, my own place, like, I have a lot of time for self-reflection. And so I'm trying to bring that to other people too. And it's been fun. I can tell it's definitely hard for some people, because it's hard to face yourself. It's hard to actually sit there and be like, I do have these flaws, or I have let this thing sit on me for months, years, or completely change me, and it's still an open wound rather than a scar. And so that's what's been the biggest thing, and one of my favorite topics. And so I'm so excited for us to talk about it today on this live.
I want to share something with you. I was scrolling, making sure we said hi to everybody, right? That's what I'm doing while you're talking. I'm listening, but I was typing.
Of course.
And this is what Shadil wrote. May the 4th be with you.
So, I thought that this morning when I woke up. I was like, okay, good vibes.
I love that. So yes, and you as well, Shadil, and everybody else out there. So, any Gladiator Guru, you want to mention anything, or I know I've been jumping in. So what do you?
I'm really looking forward to this conversation, because it's something I specialize in. You know, rising from the ashes like a phoenix. That's just, You know, there's nothing that you cannot do while you're alive.
Right.
You know, there's the possibilities are endless. So when you're broken, the healing can come through many different facets, through many different podcasts, through many different live shows, through just sitting with yourself and smelling the flowers and the leaves, and all of that is healing, right? So I'm really looking forward to this, and I just can't tell you enough, being such a proud Puerto Rican, how just I'm so honored that you're here today, and I know you're gonna kick ass when you're out there, and just by being there you're kicking ass. So we will follow you.
All the love. Thank you.
Yes. So now let's talk about this brokenness, because we're all broken. You know, we're all broke. We all need to kintsugi our asses into masterpieces, you know?
Yeah.
So let's move forward. The show is yours, Mama. Come
on. Sorry.
The show's yours. Go ahead.
Oh, thank you. Yeah. So I think a lot of it first started, I grew up in a predominantly white area. So I think that was a big thing first. My parents divorced when I was 5. So I think that's another thing of not having that example of that, 50-year marriage and everything's great. And obviously we see too, the idea of marriage has changed a lot. And so I think it started with that. I think I was living like 2 separate lives. With like my mom, kind of had it together, quote unquote. My dad was more struggling like financially and everything. And so it was like 2 different things, right? And I think even now I'm saying this on this podcast, so many of my friends were like, didn't know that happened. Most people didn't even know about that. So I think that was the first thing. And even though I never forgot about that part of my life, I definitely, I got over in the sense, I know now how I want to build from there. And so then growing up again in a predominantly white area as a, half Puerto Rican, half Black woman, it was tough, especially in the sense that I don't think I realized it until I went to college and I was around more people who looked like me. I think my self-worth, I always loved myself, but I don't think I appreciated myself the way I needed to. I think because most of the guys were into, girls with straight hair who are white and everything like that. What the few guys were into me, I was like, oh my God, it was an honor. And now I'm like, I look at my past self, no, never. And I think I internalized it a lot more than I thought. Like I said, not having people who looked like me. My dad loved me, but my dad didn't really date anyone at the time who looked like me as well. So I think it's also those things. And it wasn't until I got to college, again, it was unpacked and I was around more Black women who shared a lot of the same issues. And I think, we kind of then play catch up as far as what is our self-love and our self-worth. And so it started with reflecting on that. And I could tell in college, that's when I really was proud, understood what it meant to be a proud Black woman, to be a proud, Hispanic woman. And I think that was probably the biggest brokenness, because I had to relearn and reset my standards. And it came from putting up with bullshit with, guys or friendships and things like that. And now being in my healthier relationship, I don't forget that. And I just try to pass it on to even my friends of understanding okay, why are your standards where they are? Why do you have, broken relationship after broken relationship? And that's not to say that I have it all figured out, but I think it starts with recognizing, okay, where were the gaps? Like I said, my gaps were the fact that I didn't fully love who I was, my full identity, and growing up in that sort of background. And even when I go back home, I still recognize it, it's the same. It's the same. So really, the place isn't going to change. You have to change. And I think that's the biggest thing too. You can people try to move away or go different places and they're shocked when they're dealing with the same problems, but you didn't face it because you didn't change you. You are still with you at the end of the day. And so it's trying to also talk to my friends, where are your standards just in life? And I think from, like I said, from the broken pieces, and now I feel more whole than ever, even though I'm still working on myself, is understand, okay, I said, where are those gaps and what can I work on? And when I tell my friends, the first thing to do is fix you and know yourself whole. And when I feel when I did that, I said that to myself, I felt whole, that's when I met the person I'm with now. And it's not even about relationship. I think that's when you'll attract the right people, friends-wise. I think that's when you'll attract the right careers. You'll attract where you want to live, the right environments, when you know who you are, because then you also know what you want. And then now you set the boundaries and now you set who you are. But it comes first from facing, like I said, those broken pieces and taking those broken pieces. And I also want to say as well, when we say broken, because I know we kind of specifically talked about the pre-interview as far as like childhood trauma and everything, that can be from those, big traumatic moments in our life. But being like quote unquote broken can also just be like, you have to technically break yourself to make adjustments. We're not, so for those people listening, they're like, well, I've never had a huge like traumatic experience, or I had a pretty good childhood. That's okay. But we're not just talking about those examples being broken. It also means like you literally have to break yourself to make those adjustments. You have to face yourself. And I think facing yourself is harder than any job, person,
it is
anything that you will face. And so I want to put that too.
If I can interject, because I want to mention something that you just said. So you said some people don't have traumatic childhoods, but you don't have to have a trauma to throw you off your game. Because I didn't have a traumatic childhood. I had a very good childhood. My parents to this day are still together. And it was a very loving environment. But yet whatever reason, I mean, I can go on and we'd have a whole show on this, but I grew up very insecure. And that translated into me becoming an adult, being very, very insecure and attracting horrible relationships, whether it was friend relationships or significant others. And it took me to get to be an adult of middle age, hitting my lowest point, to actually turn it, and to wake up and finally go, what the hell is wrong with me? Like, why don't I love myself? Like, why don't I think that I deserve more? And so, like Gladiator Guru and I talk about this all the time, because she's had a traumatic childhood and young adulthood, and so you could say, oh, quote, it would make sense that this individual is the way they are, but yet she's always been a badass. Like she took her tragedy and we talked about this yesterday, as a matter of fact, these exact words. She, instead of being the victim, she was the victor. So what is it about her that set her course differently? What about me? But in the end, it doesn't matter. It just matters how you feel about you and what you learned from your past, if it was traumatic, or what you learned in general. And then if you say, I don't really like the way my life is going, I don't like the people that I'm with, I don't like the relationships I've been having, and I don't like the relationship with myself, you start with you, and you're absolutely right. That's where you got to start.
I have a question though. When we talk about trauma, and thank you for your words, Badass Buddha. But when we speak about trauma, and this was, it's a misconception, because I even got confused when a doctor asked me what type of trauma I had suffered, and because of what I was going through in that moment. And I'm thinking, I didn't have no head-on collision. I didn't have no accident. I didn't have no surgeries. And it was an emotional trauma. So although when we think trauma as being a physical action towards us, or we got to remember that even though we weren't physically or verbally abused, but if we were neglected in certain areas of our growth that didn't teach us strength and endurance and self-building confidence, then that also is traumatic, because then you grow up to go away to college, and now you didn't even have that training to start with. So now you're in college feeling like a fish out of water, making the wrong choices. So all that to say is just for the listeners out there that it's you have to just sit with yourself, and Gabby, correct me if I'm wrong, to see what was missing in my life that led me to do this, or what didn't I pay attention to? Because we got to hold ourselves accountable to those kind of things. But yeah, I mean, there's no really wrong answer with this. There's no really like, well, I didn't suffer trauma, but I did suffer neglect in
which
raising.
Is traumatic. Which is traumatic.
Right, exactly.
It is.
So we have a question actually specifically for Gabby from Nicole
Nancy.
Walters.
Oh, okay.
Nicole Walters. So it says, what advice would you give to a 15-year-old that is still looking to find confidence and self-love?
Yeah, I think it's definitely, for me, what always honestly helped was talking to older people. Like when I was in high school, I honestly connected the most with like mentors, advisors, teachers, everything, people who had experience. I think I can imagine being 15 right now, especially with the way social media is. I think it's so easy right now that they just see all of these things. It's so easy to make those type of comparisons when obviously half of it's not real. So that's my advice. If she could even find like just one teacher that she can connect with, one, it's a coach, if she does sports, whatever, that really helped me to just see and talk with someone like these are their experiences, and just to share it, ask those awkward questions. So obviously you want to be able to come to your parents, but at the end of the day, you have to live with your parents versus when you can talk to someone older. And I think also just like talking like like affirmations, positive affirmations to yourself, like daily, all the time, is also super important, because your brain is going to just take whatever you feed it. Your mind's going to take whatever you feed it. If you can stand there in the mirror, and even if like it starts by faking until you make it, if you can tell yourself, wow, it looked good today, or I accomplished this one thing, even if it's minute, even those just little celebrations, little wins, and little affirmations go a long way. I wish I did that more. I think I was a pretty happy, enthusiastic kid, but I think if I told myself more of like how beautiful I was, even though I looked different than majority of the people in my school, I think that would have helped a lot as well. So I definitely think having someone older to talk to, that's older and wiser and experienced, and those affirmations would help her a lot with that.
The other thing too is, and I had a conversation with Nicole about her daughter and my daughter, because I have a 17-year-old who's a senior in high school. I think there's a real need for creating a group, whether it be nationwide, nonprofit, something like that, where teens do have the ability to connect, because my daughter really doesn't have anybody to talk to. When I say that she doesn't, and it breaks a mom's heart. And Nicole and I were talking that her daughter struggles like that as well. And it can't be a fluke thing. It can't be just that these are the only two kids in the whole United States that have nobody to talk to. And, and to be around individuals such as yourself. See, it's one thing when an older person says it, like they get it, but they're like, but you're closer to their age, how old are you, if you don't mind me asking?
24.
You're 24. Okay. So between the ages of 18 and like 25, let's say, to have mentors, like especially someone like you who's already so insightful, to be a part of something like this, to where you get these teens to come on and have conversations with you and say, wow, I know I got to be friends with this girl that's on the Olympic team, and how cool is that? And it's like, they know that they can access you, and you among other people, say, listen, I know it's tough, and I know, but you have to keep looking within you, and you will find the people that you are meant to be around. See, I was so, like, again, so insecure that I was around, I was in relationships that weren't healthy. So, we could say, oh, that's great. You had friends when you were younger, you blah, blah, blah. But if the quality is bad, I don't know what's worse. I don't know if it's worse to be in a bad quality relationship or to have no relationship whatsoever. It's actually bad either way.
Yeah.
Because people still need people. So building from the broken, you also do need those other people there to help support you and like hold you up while you're building one piece, that makes a huge difference.
Yeah, I agree. I think it's a huge piece. I know this family I used to babysit. It's like, I feel like I'm watching them grow up, and one of them is 12. She's in middle school. I'm like, oh, I'm so sorry. But I still, like, she calls me and FaceTimes me, and it definitely is a testament to your point. I can see how big of an impact it is, even if we're on FaceTime for only 10 minutes every week or every other week. I can just tell, just to talk to someone, like you said, is a little bit closer to her age compared to her parents. She's the oldest, so obviously she really feels like she doesn't have anyone to really lean on that understands her. So I definitely think that would be huge if there was some sort of program or mentorship program, because I know, like you said, it's definitely not just your daughters that are feeling that way. And I think that's why I kind of challenge people my age, if they, especially people with my sort of platform going for the Olympics and everything, just to be authentic and just be willing to just not post just because your sponsor wants to, or post just because you feel like you need to for certain like attention or what have you. It's like, do it for the kids that are behind you who felt the way you used to feel and everything. You wish you had be the person you wish you had when you were that age. And I think if we can't connect with them directly, have them at least, because social media is so big, that they can come to a platform they know this is a real authentic person. This is someone who speaks to me and speaks from experience, if we can't get directly in contact with them.
I love that
Absolutely.
what she said, right, Gladiator Guru? She says, be the person that you wished you had when you were that age. That's
Yeah,
beautiful.
that's what my granddaughter does. She writes every day a letter to her future self because she knows that there's something else out there. She's a leukemia survivor. You know, she is, and yeah, absolutely. That's what we gotta, I saw a video on TikTok the other day where the guy was saying, listen, you have to go to that dealership, go to that open house. Don't go to no rinky dink ones. You walk in there and you don't need to have money. You go in there and you visualize the life you want. So you go into that mansion and you go in and you don't go in scared. You walk in confident, even though you broke, even though you caught a cab to the corner. Yeah. And he says, because that's how we are telling ourselves. And that's how it is with words of encouragement. Exactly. That's how it is. In order for you to be unapologetically courageous, you got to believe it where you're standing at this moment before you go into battle. You can't go into battle and be like, okay, I got to be courageous now. So it is. It's all the mindset. But I just wanted to, Nancy Green said, my daughter grew up in the same way, all white family. She was the only mixed child in the whole family and not having contact with her Black family. She was different and grew up feeling out of place.
Yeah, that's exactly how it was, because my dad wasn't super close with his family, so there wasn't really anyone to look at again and be like, okay, you get it. Even if you're not here with me at school, you understand it was the same way. So it's, eventually you find your community. I know it's hard. I didn't have mine until college, but I know those people in college, shout out, y'all know who you are. It definitely helped a lot. And even now, I mean, even when I see like my coach has his little daughter sometimes at practice and she'll have like her little fro sometimes. And I even tell her, I'm like, your hair is so beautiful. Like you are so beautiful. Like feed that. I mean, you don't understand how much like the way that people can internalize the negative, they'll obviously take in the positive as well. So, when you do see other little mixed girls with that comment, boost them up, create a community.
I love that hair. When my friend used to always pin her hair back, right? She's been on the show before, my friend Liza. And she would always pin her hair back. And every so often she'd come to work and her hair would be just like whack. And I'd be like, oh my God, I love it like that. And she's like, she'd always say the same thing. I didn't wash it. And I'm like, listen, I don't care what your reasoning. I'm like, it's just so gorgeous. Like I cannot stop it. Like anytime I see a child with that hair or just when it's all puffy like that, I just stare, even an adult. And they must think, especially the adults are probably going, what the hell is that lady's problem? It's just so beautiful. And when I get a chance, I will always tell somebody like your hair is just so beautiful. That is. And I think that's where it starts is we have to also be brave enough to say that to people. Like how many times as women we've kept stuff in. We're like, should I tell her she like looks really good in that? Like, and then we go through this stupid thing in our head because it's our own stuff. Oh, if I say that, she's probably going to think I'm weird. Or if I say that, she looks kind of like she thinks she's all that anyway. And that's just going to boost it. Who the freak cares? So what if she's got an ego?
I don't care if they think I'm gay. I'm like, you are rocking that outfit or that hat is beautiful. You know why? Because I come from a dark-skinned Puerto Rican father. My father, your complexion, my brother's are darker than you. And my mother is Italian and Portuguese, right? So she's pale, light hair. My father's dark-skinned, jet black hair, and there was a shift from your story because my mother's family disowned her. Wow. And they didn't want nothing to do with us. So it was my Puerto Rican family that embraced us and taught us love and didn't care that we were light skinned or, that we were lighter. Because the Puerto Ricans come and say, I have cousins that are freckle face, green eyes, red hair, blonde hair, blue eyes. Yep. Yeah. And then you got my brother that we actually call him Molleto because that's black boy in Spanish because he's so crispy. He looks like Barney's cousin, right? So what happens with that? It's an array, it's a rainbow, and it's all love. Yeah. It's all love. So I think the courageous woman is one. And I've seen Lori. I've seen not only Lori compliment somebody's beautiful, but also say, oh, you have a great ass. And I was like, This is my people right here.
You know? Listen, it's the truth. And I usually say, like, and I'll say to them, because they'll look at me, and I get that. They're like, and I listen, and I'm saying it coming from the most heterosexual person ever, but that is a hot ass. You better show that thing off. You know? And they love, you know, and I'm not saying it to make me feel like it's better.
Yes, you see
like,
them glow
you gotta
from
know it. You gotta know it. Like, dang, if you don't know.
How many lives are we saving? We don't even know what people are thinking. Like, I could be lost in thought and be in a place of rage, and somebody will say something to me. So yes, Gabby, yes. But I want to ask something. Yes, that's what I was
yeah, look at what
she asked you.
It's so beautiful.
Thank you.
She will, absolutely.
Thank you so much. It means so much to me.
But she also put something else for her to know about the empowerment she started in Bridgeport for the young ladies.
Empowerment. Yeah, I think I saw
I put that up there, and I told her to put the contact information. Where did she put it? Here it is. Yeah. So this is a great organization, the Bridgeport Girls Empowerment Group in Bridgeport. So if you want to join that, in any way that you can. And that's just one area. And it just be great to have a national thing and then have local chapters, because this is, we need this, we absolutely need this. And Desiree wrote this. I love all skin tones. Iritza and those beautiful freckles. Yes, Iritza's got such cute freckles. My goodness.
Freckles. Mine are starting to come out.
And big hair.
Yeah, but she has them permanently, her little short ass. But mines do come out when the sun hits, because that's from, I guess, my father's side of the family. But I wanted to ask you a question. So you moved from San Diego, you came to Orlando to do what you have to do. You found yourself alone. You brought the baggage of being different in San Diego. So I think you were a little wary, right? Like when you first came to Orlando. So when was that moment? When was your aha moment? When was that breakthrough to receive the Gabby that we're seeing today?
Oh, I think there's different levels to it, to be honest.
Okay, after everything, yeah.
Yeah, I think the first one was definitely when I went to college. I think was one of the first levels, because I had talked to a guy right before I went to school, didn't go well, whatever. And I was like, I am done being invested. Like, I just want to have fun. Like, cause I just am such a loving, like when I love very hard. So I think that was the first level. And I think that saved me, especially being a freshman, instead of, which there's nothing wrong with it, but I just never been the type like, going around dating all the time and like sleeping around, whatever. And I think that's saved me from that, of like having that open heart again, just letting everyone in. I think that was the first one. And I think honestly, probably when like junior college, we're also into coming to Orlando, I think was a whole nother shift coming here, because now there's a whole lot of people who look like me. Now I am the person that a lot of guys are into. I was like, whoa,
hold up. Now I have like an arena of choices. Next.
Yeah, it was so different. I was in a relationship, but I even told my boyfriend, like, this is crazy. Like, now I'm the one, like when I'm in a group of friends, like I'm one of the ones that the guys look at. That's crazy. And I think that was another time, because then again, it was like another set of like standards. Okay, now it's like, because I'm already in a relationship, who do I actually befriend? Who actually wants to be my friend? Who like both, men and women, because like we're in this co-ed sport. We're over here in Florida. Most of us are in our early to mid 20s. And so I think then it was like, I had to really sit again and be like, okay, who do I need to be associated with? And it was hard. I had to go through some hard lessons, because I was still loving so hard. I was in these friendships thinking that everyone's definition of friendship was the same as mine. And I think honestly, what you see now has still just been the last like 4 or 5 months, because I just went through some more stuff being in Orlando, now living by myself and realizing like everyone's got their own shit to do. And that's not to say people don't care about you, but friendship, how it was when you're in high school and in college, is not the same as friendship when you're older. And so again, you spend more time on yourself. And now that's probably I think I'm working on that next level breakthrough right now, to be honest. And it's really, it's hard, but it's exciting, because then I've always leveled up as a person when I go through these times.
Well, I think I'm sorry.
No, go ahead, Gladiator Guru.
Because you said something that always resonates with me, that I always talk about. I write about it. It's written. See, my book is very repetitious. And send me your address, Gabby. Okay. My book is it was intentionally where in the first chapter you'll read something and then you're going to hear it again in the third, because I feel that the more you hear it, It's like an affirmation, right?
Right.
And I talk about what were we just talking about?
You said you reminded me.
No, she
of
said,
something.
"Oh, easy. Okay." And I write about, like, sometimes we've been through
That's
so
what
much.
happens when you get older. You
No
know?
shit, Gee. And when you're a self-proclaimed celibate for like going on 2 years, you're talking about, I love hard. Okay. And then my heart shatters. And then I'm like, I'm ready for love again. And it's been like going on 2 years that I haven't. And it's 4 years that I'm a widow. And you know what? I'm okay with that. And I love that you said that, because I'm okay. Somebody asked me the other day, why aren't you? I don't want to date. I don't put myself in situations where I can meet somebody. Why? Because I know me. Right. You know, Isabel, one of my personalities, she's a freak. So I got to keep her at bay, right? So in the book, I always write, people always go the easy route, right? Why? But it's easy. But what is it? It's an empty easy. When you level up, and you face all these challenges, and you got to work extra hard, and you got to stay up extra hours, and you're exhausted, but you're exhilarated at the same time. Why? Because you're building up. It's not easy. So it's more rewarding in the long run ahead. So I'm glad you mentioned that, because that is like, that's so true. Being easy is just easy, and you really don't get anything out of it. It might look good for the moment, but then it fades, like eating that piece of chocolate cake you shouldn't have eaten.
Definitely
just saying,
but it's okay.
Well, but you know what? Listen, but the interesting thing is, though, the more you know yourself and the more you honor yourself and love yourself, there are certain things that do get easy, and it's a good easy. Like friendships do become easier because. So what you were saying is that, and this is, you know, you brought up a really good point. This is the difference between like a friendship when you're younger and a friendship as an adult. And I say it loosely as an adult because I still see it happen as like almost like teenager behavior, right? So I have friends all over the place, and I have more friends now than I've ever had in my whole life. It's mind blowing to me, and I'm so grateful, right? But I have certain friends that I don't talk to for years. Right. And all of a sudden I'll call them up, or they'll call me up, and we get on the phone, and it's like we just talked to each other last month. We just get, oh my God, how are you? There's no, well, you haven't called me in a long, oh, it's nice to see you, blah, 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 you know, and we just, oh my God, how have you been? What's up? And then we're on for like 2-3 hours talking, right? And that is what I want in my life. Those are the relationships that I want, because you're right. Life gets in the way. So we all have our own things that we're doing. And instead of saying, oh, well, so-and-so hasn't like bothered to reach out to me, what the hell's wrong with them? Blah, blah, blah. I've done the same thing. So why am I getting mad if somebody's doing that when I'm doing that? So I've learned that the moment I get somebody on the phone that starts off that way, well, now you're going to talk to me, blah, blah, blah. I'm like, yeah, you know what? Actually, I have to go.
Okay, bye-bye.
Yeah.
Bye-bye.
Yes, exactly. Exactly. Because they're not part of they were part of the broken. Yeah. Like that's the reality. And I noticed that since I have fixed myself over the years, I don't attract those people. The ones that still say those comments are people from my past, whether they were relatives, you know, that I don't talk to that much, or they were other friends. And I laugh at it now, and I'm like, what is it that you need? You know, like if they reached out to me, or if I reached out to them, say, you know what, I'm good then. Never mind. And then I'm done. I'm not even going to bother, because who the hell needs that? I don't need you to, like, it's like, again, if we go back to the idea of building, you've just fixed your nice foundation and you've built this beautiful house, and you're still building another floor. And then somebody from your past comes and kicks out or sledgehammers out one little piece of your foundation. You're like, hey, wait, what the hell's that? I don't think so. You know?
Yeah, I agree with that too. I think it definitely has become easier for me. It doesn't mean it doesn't hurt just a little bit, but it has become easier for me to be like, okay, you're not feeding where I'm at now. And so you can just stay in the past. No hard feelings. I don't hate you. There's no bad blood. But I do agree that when you're more, you know yourself more, you're more secure in yourself, it does become easier to, you know, block out and leave out anything that's not feeding the current place that you're in.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And Chanel also put another program up here too, another resource for groups for middle school and teens, onecirclefoundation.org. There's also Girls Inc. too. Girls Inc. is another national organization. And these are all, but still, even
So
with
how do you
these
push these? Because I've never heard of these. So I feel like that's what's missing too, is like you said, the platform.
Exactly. It's like if we're not knowing they're out there, and these teens aren't knowing that they're out there, but these organizations also need to be run by young people.
Right.
Like you could have the older people running the actual business piece, but you've got to have the younger people have the voice. They have to be the ones, because again, if the three of us are sitting here talking to a group of teens, they're going to hear you, Gabby. They'll like be like Gladiator Guru. They'll probably laugh at some of the stuff that we're saying and be like, oh, that's funny and that's cool. But they're going to be tunnel visioned onto you because you're closer to their age.
You're closer to their. It's just like an addict is the best sponsor to have for an addict.
Right.
Because you understand where you're there. Yeah. And I think sometimes we're magnets for those friends that you were speaking about. But I think that in the long run, when we become authentic and unapologetically courageous and admit, like, I can't do this today because I'm reaching another level and I need to focus. It's okay. And remember, those who mind don't matter. And it's when you're taking those steps and leveling up that you realize who needs to be in your circle and who needs to be in the nosebleed.
Say the whole expression. Say the whole
that those that mind, those that mind don't matter, and those that matter don't mind. And I've always loved that.
I love that one.
And it's like, I'm so proud of you. Like, I can't even get all the words out. I'm proud of you. I'm proud for what you're standing for. I'm proud from where you came from, because it made you who you are today. And I'm proud that you're that voice for the young people coming in. And I'm proud that you're representing Puerto Rico. Don't make me sing right now, okay? Because I'm tone deaf, but I love to sing. I love all
background music. I got it.
So I'm happy, and I know that going forward you will be exactly what you set out to be, and you would be that leader for the young people coming up. For that, that I have a piece that I wrote that it says, I am bi, and it says I am biracial, bicultural, and definitely bipolar. Because my parents created walking time bombs, and I own that shit. You know? I go from, hi, how you doing? Do you need something? Are you hungry? To bitch, I'll rip your throat out.
Yeah,
which way we go.
Yeah, your combination definitely don't play. So
yeah, so it depends on who I'm dealing with and what they think they can get from me. But other than that,
I'm on here for love and cuddles.
My base is about love. Like I say, and I told the badass Buddha, we're all judgy. We all can judge in different parts of different people in different circumstances. But I give everybody an A when I meet them until they fuck it up. So it all ends on them.
Right.
It's all on them and how you want to do it. I'll give you the shirt off my back.
In the end, but Gladiator Guru, in the end, you are authentic. Like you own the fact that you have those two sides to your personality, that you and anything in between. Like you're on one end, you're on the other, and everything in between. That's the beauty of it. Because anybody that knows you, if somebody really knows you, because she doesn't give herself credit sometimes, Gabby, she'll sit there and talk about how stern she is and how this she is. And I turn around and go, she's actually quite a loving heart. She doesn't like to really say that too often. But anybody who knows her knows that's who she is. And it's the same thing with you. Anybody that gets to know you. So if somebody looks at it and says, oh, that Gabby Scott, look at her. She thinks she's all that. She's on the Olympic team and she's like, look at her run. Right. They don't know you.
And that's exactly what I say.
They don't want to get to know you because they want to perpetuate that story, or they're saying it because out of lack, that they have a scarcity mindset. But if they're still open enough, then they can. Then they'll open themselves up and go, oh, I was wrong. I didn't know that was that side of you. Yeah. But in the end, it's about you in order to build from the broken, you have to fall in love with yourself, even at that low point, even when you're broken, fall in love with who you are, then say, okay, what is it that I don't like about myself? So I know what I need to change. What do I like about myself? Who am I now? Who do I want to be? And make those changes, and then keep loving yourself from that point going forward, no matter what someone else says, how they act towards you, because most of the time it's their own shit.
Right. And going off of that too, I was just telling someone that I was like, 85 to 90% of people who have a problem with me, it's probably because of them. Because I don't like you just said, Gladiator Guru, like I don't like problems with people. I start with love. So if we don't like each other, it's probably your fault. Now there are probably some
spiritual thing,
right?
That's your Puerto Rican spirituality.
Exactly. Now sometimes where there was a bad part of me, and we all have our insecure moments or whatever, that I messed up, but I will also own that shit.
That's correct.
100%. I will own it.
That's
and
correct.
If you hear something about me, whether it's positive or negative, believe them, because it was an accurate response to whatever happened in our situation. So you can either decide to listen to them, whatever, have your own relationship with me or not. Either way, I'm still going to go about my day. I'm still going to work on me, and I'm still going to love whoever decides to love me.
Amen. All day. Kimberly Sanchez just signed on. Now, Kimberly Sanchez is a very positive tribe member. She was like, hey, good morning, my love. So late this morning. OMG, Gabby Scott. She is amazing. So you got a fan base. I guess Kim knows you prior to being on the show. She's read about you. So that is a beautiful thing.
Thank you.
That is. Oh my goodness. Please keep in touch. I want to be on your podcast. And when I get back to Florida, I'm starting mine.
Okay.
So you can be a guest on my Kick-Ass Bitch of Menopause podcast.
Even though you're not in menopause or nowhere near.
No.
You don't have to, but you will be. Okay. So let's get you prepped for the future.
Please, I'm not ready, but yes.
So when it's time to climb, to elevate, then you'll elevate in peace, my love.
Thank you both so much for having me. It's been this was such a great start to my morning. I have a really hard workout today, so now I can carry this energy into that hard workout and just feel all the positive vibes. And thank you also for all the listeners too and viewers.
You got this. Yes. Listen, we can't wait. Do you know about when your area is going to be broadcast? Like, do they give you that information yet?
Yeah, so I'll send it to you directly. Obviously, it'll depend on like qualifying and everything like that. But it'll be track actually starts the first week of August. So the first week is kind of like some of the other sports. So we'll be the first week of August. But I'll definitely send you an email with like all the dates of all the different events and everything and times and all that. Yeah, we'll keep in touch. We'll be close.
Yes, definitely get in contact with us and let's just do this. Let's just you know what? Let's leave our mark. Let's re-engage the powerful women of the world.
Yes, absolutely.
And again, we got to do it as a tribe. So let's just get going. We all got shit to do, and we're all spread out in what we got that we need to do. But you know what? We're all going in the direction of health, success, and abundance. Yes. So let's get there. Okay. Perfect. All right. Anything you want to say goodbye?
Just thank you all for having me again. And just, for all the ones who have little ones or teenagers, and even just as grown folks, lift each other up, lift yourself up. There's a reason why there's scars. Don't let them be open wounds. And we can always, starting over can start today. Face yourself and be beautiful as always from inside out.
Oh, yes. Beautiful. And as soon as we know, tribe, when we get all the information, when Gabby's going to be, doing her thing, all the things, because now she has so many different things that she's going to be doing for the Olympics. We want all of the tribe members going to share it on our platform, and we want everybody to be cheering her on. And we even take a picture of the tribe with, and pointing to the TV with, Gabby in the background.
So, that'd be awesome.
Wonderful.
So, okay.
Thank you so much.
Thursday, we're going to be talking about the age of the prophetess. So with Kira Poulsen, if you listen to the Viva Moms After Dark, Kira was on last month, and Kira is talking. Oh, she left. We didn't need her to leave, but Kira is, she's all about women and empowerment. So we're going to have her on Thursday. So we didn't want Gabby to drop off, but she dropped off. So bye, Gabby. We want to say goodbye to you and have you go to the ending. So we apologize for that. I should have made that more clear, I guess. So anyway, so that's it, Gladiator. Do you have anything else to say before we sign out?
No, just for those that are local, I hope to see you. We hope to see you because I'll be reading and she'll be streaming. So again, power team. So yeah, if you're in the area, come down and see about us.
Absolutely. And I see we had one last person come on, Bonita Robinson. Good morning. And we're happy that you came on. And I want to just do that before we sign off. And so, okay, that's it. So we'll see you on Thursday morning for the show and Thursday afternoon with Gladiator Guru's book. All right. And remember, be you, be real, and be extraordinary.
Yes, mi gente. Remember, breathe in the beauty and breathe out the bullshit. Namaste.
Namaste, everyone.